You got any ideas, buddy?
Thank you guys yet again for your incredible support. I'm going to make a very big announcement. I am going on tour.
What's up? Oh, technical difficulties.
Hey, buddy. There he is. So excited. This is going to be really, really cool. Check it out. This is great.
There is no Roblox group.
Today is a very special day because I have written a book. The DanTDM tour is coming to the United States. We're in the tour bus. It's so cool. This is one crazy trip.
This is upstairs, room number 204.
Cool. So I think you probably just about got it from that. So yeah, it's been a busy year. So what we're going to talk about, we're going to start with Dan's channel and the inspiration behind that, where he gets his ideas from. We're going to talk a bit about the book that came out last year, then the tour that we're currently on at the moment, and then we're going to finish it off with the YouTube Red series. And we're just going to sort of go into a few of the insights that we've learned over the past 18 months, sort of why you would want to take your content off your YouTube channel, why you want to do it at all, and also just some suggestions for how you might want to do it as well. So I think we've learned quite a lot over the past 18 months, and I suppose we're here to share it with you guys. So sort of over to Dan for the channel, where it all began.
Yeah, so I said the video would explain it better, but I'll do it again. So yeah, my channel currently is just over 15 million subscribers, over 10 billion views as well. And in terms of social media, Instagram is the most popular, 2.4 million, Twitter is just about 10 million, and same with Facebook as well. I started the channel about 5 years ago, almost to the day, and I started predominantly with solely Minecraft for about 3 years, and most recently switched from solely Minecraft over to other games, and then just into other random videos that I wanted to make basically. So I kind of made the transition from solely Minecraft to other games just because I felt like I wanted to and expand. In terms of where I found my niche on YouTube, because when I started there were a lot of Minecraft YouTubers out there anyway. I started to involve crazy characters and storylines into Minecraft. Minecraft is a perfect game to do that for video making anyway. You can create these zany characters, any world, any kind of narrative. Kind of using using Minecraft as an animation software that's already ready to go and easy to use as well. So that was kind of my niche, and then over the 5 years I got to one of the most viewed channels on YouTube, which is awesome. And
I think that the work that Dan was creating, that's what first sort of drew my attention to him as a creator. He was creating characters that were appearing on a regular basis through his channel, and then you could see that you could easily take that off the channel and put it into different spaces. So I suppose one of the next bit was the book, right?
Yeah, exactly. So Minecraft is a fairly limitless game, but it does actually have its limits when you come to mods and worlds and video making. So I've explored pretty much all you can do with Minecraft. So I wanted to take the world and characters that people know and love, and take them kind of out of that and into their very own world. So Trevor's eventually had his very own look, rather than just being like a Minecraft villager. Craig the Mailman then had his own look. I just wanted to have my own world outside of the video game that was mine and had all my characters
And that was sort of happening in parallel to me looking at the YouTube space and looking at creators that we might be able to work with in the live space. And speaking to Dan, we had sort of ideas for how that might work. And you know what we could have done, we could have just said, Dan, do you want to do a live tour? You just play some Minecraft for an hour and a half, do a Q&A, but it wouldn't have really developed his world any further, and there wouldn't really been that much investment in time and money gone into the actual production of the show. So something that we wanted to do was develop his world and sort of get on board with that. So we met Dan. We had an idea for a tour. Do you want to actually say what the tour was about?
Yeah, of course. So we got a little bit of a snippet from that video. So the main thing is, as well, the tour and the book were kind of happening at the same time. So something that was really important was trying to keep these new looks for the characters in two separate projects the same, or as similar as we could. Because with the book there's a team, with the tour there's a team, but we had them both working together to be able to make the book and the tour as similar as we could, which I think we pulled off pretty well.
Yeah. So one of the parts of that video where you saw Dr. Trayaurus in Minecraft, and then you saw Dr. Trayaurus in the book, and then in the show, and then finally in the YouTube Red series, you could sort of see the progression of that character in terms of its style. And yeah, it was important to sort of retain the same look and feel of that character, so that Dan's fans, they could come to the show, come to the book, and they knew immediately who it was, and it sort of made sense.
Exactly, yeah, and it was important to keep those worlds, like a world outside of Minecraft, just one, rather than having the book and, like you said, the tour completely separate. So, as well, with the tour, the whole premise behind it is we have a massive screen behind us, very similar to this, but a bit bigger, and we have me as a real-life character. There's also a character called Eve, who is played by an actress called DanTDM, and we are the only two real-life characters in the show. The rest are all animated, and we have conversations between the two. Dr. Trayaurus messes things up straight away, as usual, and creates my evil twin. And my evil twin kidnaps my dogs, and he challenges me to gaming challenges to get my dogs back, basically. And all the games in the show are custom-made for the show. I think the only branded game we've got in there is Roblox, I believe, and the rest are all custom-made. They all involve either picking individuals from the audience and coming up, so they work together or against each other to complete the game, or a couple of them involve like an audience task. For example, one is controlled by pitch and voice. So we wanted to get the whole audience involved in some way, so that people didn't leave feeling like they weren't picked or didn't have any involvement in the show. It was all about meeting fans in person, but also taking away the screen from between me and my audience, which I think is really well.
Yeah, and one of the other important things that we did to get it right was put a team in place that was sort of expert in that area, in that space. So, we had a writer-director whose background was very much theatre. Our head of production, very, very experienced head of production. They were coming from the theatre world, and they were sort of meeting us halfway, which was important to get right and an important thing to do.
Yeah, the popular what I got told once the description of the show was like a rock concert and a theatre show like mashed together. It has the energy of a rock concert, but also has the structure of a theatre show. So we had to get the best of both worlds working together, because that kind of combination could get out of control. Yeah,
exactly. And so that as a show has worked really well, and we've spoken to lots of parents after the show who came and didn't necessarily know what to expect. They sort of thought they were playing Minecraft for an hour and a half, and they saw the show and they saw that we had we'd invested time and energy into creating something that was entertaining and quality. And they left saying, if you do another one, I'm going to come back, which is exactly what we were obviously aiming to achieve. We sort of felt if we put time, money, and effort into the beginning part, then things would come from it. And one of the most immediate things that came from it was the YouTube Red series experts.
Yes.
That came out sort of, well, a few months ago.
Yeah, 6 months ago almost.
Yeah, and that's sort of behind the scenes look of the show, but it's a scripted series, and in fact you're probably better at explaining what it's about.
Yeah, it's a scripted series that involves all of the kind of assets and style we took from the live show, and also includes parts of the live shows. The main premise behind the YouTube show is that we're trying to come up with an idea for the tour, and then there's like, throughout the 6 episodes, there's mini stories that lead up to doing the live show. So kind of like behind the scenes, but with a bit of a twist with the animated characters. Again, me and Danny are the only 2 human characters. The rest are animated, but not stuck on a screen like they are in the live show, in the live tour, but actually in the real world. So if any of you've seen like Who Framed Roger Rabbit, it's that kind of style. Yeah.
So again, we were working with YouTube very closely, but also a TV production team to make this. We have a producer on the show, a guy called Jules Fuller, who was also a producer on the YouTube series, and Ben Wolf, who was writer director for both series. So again, keeping the same team in place to manage these projects and see them sort of all the way through. And I think what we've ended up with is we're in quite a strong place to go and explore other projects, other initiatives over the next couple of years, using that sort of kit of parts of Dan's brand and world.
Yeah, completely agree. And something that was really important with the live tour and the book as well is to give a different experience than what they can experience on YouTube every single day. So like the book is like a non-moving video. So the important thing that I wanted to do with the book is not make it like just a wall of text with no images, because personally I didn't want to do that, and I don't read books like that anyway. So I made it into a graphic novel, so it's very visual, and yeah, like a non-moving video, but you can explore situations outside of the limits of Minecraft. And then with the live show, we then wanted to take those non-moving images, bring them back to the videos, but then also have them in a different situation, which was animated characters in the real world with interactivity with humans.
Yeah. So that's what we've been doing for the past 18 months. And just to come back to the title of this talk, I suppose one of the questions is, why would you want to do this? If you're a creator of a big enough size to be able to do a tour and do a book deal and a YouTube Red series, then the likelihood is that you're making a decent life just doing your channel, and these could be seen as distractions or things that might get in the way. So I think one of the things we've discussed over the past few days is longevity and loyalty. You've built up an audience over however many years, and that audience is very, very loyal to you. And I think doing these sorts of things and putting your world and your content into different environments for them to consume, is sort of rewarding that journey they've been on with you, rewarding that loyalty. So I think creators have loyalty to their fans as well. So it's quite a nice thing to do. And the other thing is longevity. In terms of that audience, you're potentially growing it as well. So you're putting your world into a different environment for new audiences to see. A friend of mine back home was asking me what an example of what this talk was about. So I talked about the Haters Back Off, Miranda Singh's Netflix series. Now she'd seen it and loved it, but she didn't even realise that she was actually a YouTuber and has a YouTube channel there. Now she's not going to be an immediate subscriber. She consumes her content on Netflix, but when there's a second series, she will go back and watch it. So that audience is growing the more spaces you're going to be putting that content on.
Yeah, exactly. With the extra projects, you kind of want to think of them as extensions to what you do. I kind of mentioned it already, that you already have this world and community of fans that you've built on YouTube for online video and whatever you've made popular using YouTube. So you should use these extra projects as, I call them passion projects because they do take a lot of time and you don't want them to distract from what you've already built, but you want to make them into something awesome that your fans can experience that are new, as well as, yeah, introducing potential new fans, like with the live tour, there's potential new fans there. The YouTube Red series is a completely different style to what I normally do, but with all those well-known characters I already have developed.
Yeah. And in terms of the key sort of takeout, I suppose, from doing this with Dan over the past 18 months, I'd say make sure that the platform or the space or whatever it is you're doing, make sure that it works for you and your objectives rather than the other way around. Because a company is going to see you and your audience size and obviously potential revenue, and that's the place they're going to approach it from, and they're going to have their own objectives. But you should absolutely have your own goals for whatever project it is, and they should be the priority rather than the other way around.
Yeah, it's very easy for companies to take your reach because you have a lot of influence over these people that are subscribed to your stuff. It's very easy for them to see that and then be like, oh, can you sell this to your audience? Like, yeah, probably, but you want to prioritize your fans' experience over anything else, be it money or growth, anything like that. You want it to be an awesome experience for your fans and yourself, because otherwise, honestly, I wouldn't have pursued any of these projects unless it was something that I was really passionate about, and then the rest kind of comes from a successful project.
Yeah, so choosing the right partner that understands that and is willing to sort of go on that journey with you.
Yeah, that too, because like the team we've developed now is a small team, but it's also a very, very passionate team about the projects, about me as a person as well, and that's most important, is to have an amazing team around you that can maybe learn from each other. So I've learned a lot from Enmar and Tom and Elspeth and everyone on the team about that side of things, whereas I feel like they've learned a lot about the online space, so YouTube and how that works. So a team that you get on well with is amazing because, again, it's incredibly stressful at times. And when you're trying out something new like this, you really want a lot of great people who come together and create space and create something like this really well.
Yeah, exactly. So that's pretty much it. I hope it was interesting. I think we're gonna take some questions if there are any for the next 10-15 minutes.
Yep, sounds good. So if you have a question, pop your hand up and someone will come across.
I don't know how old your channel is, but I was wondering if you could go back to like the beginnings and at what point did it go from, I just love making YouTube videos, I like making videos, and then it came to maybe I should try creating something else that my fans would like, and then what was that process? How did you decide whether it was a book, a tour, Instagram photos or whatever? Like, how did you decide to branch off of online video?
That is a good question. So your main focus originally has to be YouTube. Well, it can be whatever you want to grow. If you want to just use Twitter, then use Twitter. But from a YouTube perspective, it's all about finding that niche, I guess. So a lot of people for me personally, it happened very quickly. So I found my niche quite quickly, almost by accident, using the characters and stuff, making sure that was my unique part of my videos, and that's what took my channel from 0 to 100 very quickly. Sometimes it can take years for you to try different ideas over and over again. That's the beauty of YouTube, is you can literally try new things every day. Whereas if you were, pitching a series to a TV network and then it launches and no one likes it, you've kind of not got that option again to then try something new straight away and get feedback from it. So it's all about listening to feedback, whether it's good or bad, and just changing it up every day or carry on doing stuff that works to gain that loyal fan base. Like with the characters, I started using them over and over again in videos, and then people were really interested in the backstories, and I was like, this can be fun. I'll create a backstory to this character who's just featured every now and then. And then from then, the world just kind of expanded over and over again, the more new elements I added to it. So it kind of happens almost by accident, but then you also have to be proactive about building it, generating this massive world.
I think as well, before you were on tour, Dan was going to gaming events and making appearances, doing meet and greets, and that you are taking yourself from your channel into the real world, and it's worth doing that because people are seeing you in a new environment, doing new things, and that connection builds. So I would say that helps as well.
Yeah, when it comes to Twitter and Instagram, when you make that kind of connection there, Twitter's a great way to interact with fans, especially when things get more popular on YouTube. It's kind of hard to keep track of comments. It's a much more personal way to interact with fans. But you sometimes get to a point on YouTube where people want to know more about the person making the videos. So that's when Instagram and Twitter come in perfectly. So you can start sharing videos and images about what you're doing, and they just learn more behind the voice and face, I guess. Has anyone else got a question? Hope that answers your question.
Check. Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
My name's Eli. I'm with a group of we're live promoters and agents coming here as an educational process. And I've seen a group of the influencers who are touring, like we are talking about, but it feels like there's a bit of a holdback, and I would expect more to do it, but you see a lot of them still behind the screen and doing the socials. What holds back the social influencer from being on the road and going to do hard tickets and touring? Is it lack of knowledge and connections, or is it that they don't want to leave the room and do the hard work to go on tour?
It could be any of those things. Personally, it could. So we started with the idea of this tour. It started just 4 days in the UK, and that was it, 4 shows. And now we're getting close to number 70 and taking it around the US, Australia we've been to, and we're going back to later this year. So it could have easily been something that I did for 4 shows and didn't enjoy. So I think it takes a certain kind of person who not only enjoys making YouTube videos, but also likes performing on stage, because it is a form of acting and is almost completely different to YouTube in some respects. So I think some people just won't enjoy it, I guess. So there's that element, and then it's also trying to figure out how your content applies to a live space too. So I think mine was just ready-made for making this awesome world even bigger in the live space. I think it's perfectly suited to that. So I think it depends on the content you make and also the kind of person you are. So I've met people who have come to see the show who are influencers and YouTubers who said they couldn't do it just because they don't feel comfortable in that kind of environment. So I think it's big on what kind of creator you are, what kind of person you are.
Yeah. Also, these things like tours, they're financially risky. They cost a lot of money to put on, and if no one buys a ticket, then you've lost all the money, and it damages your reputation as well. So I think one of the reasons why it was 4 dates initially was because we were unsure about that path to purchase. So Dan's fans, they probably have to go and get their parents to buy a ticket. Was that sort of test the power, one of the better words? Was that going to be enough? Was it going to be there? As it turned out, they sold out in sort of half an hour. So, but there was a financial risk attached to that as well, which people have got to be real about.
Hi, my son is 10 years old, and he's a huge fan of yours. He watches hours and hours of your channel. So I just had a quick question. What age were you when you started playing Minecraft? And do you think that, I assume you started quite a long time ago, do you think that playing Minecraft and these online video games developed you as a creative person and helped you go into YouTube? Or do you think you were a creative person as or vice versa? Did your playing video games help you develop as a creative person?
100%, yeah. I'm a very creative person anyway, so I was massively into art. I studied music as well, which I'm still massively into, but YouTube was that way I could explore video as well. So even, I don't know, back before YouTube even existed, me and my brothers used to make stupid videos on camcorders. But the difference between that is, when I was back at school, before I was doing YouTube, I was extremely shy. So I was one of the shyest people you'd ever meet. So YouTube and Minecraft combined really helped me to develop as a person. So if you'd have told me back before I even started YouTube, even back when I was like 18, because I started YouTube about 19, 20, quality. If you just told me back then that I'd be doing shows in front of 4,000 people, I wouldn't believe you. So Minecraft and YouTube combined have really helped me develop as a person and challenge my creativity every single day, which is part of like, it's a challenge for YouTube, but it's also something I really, really enjoy, is trying to almost force myself to be creative every day, because I make a video every single day, so I find that really enjoyable. And then the tour on the book adds to those challenges as well. So yeah, I think it has definitely.
Hi, I was kind of curious, so throughout your YouTube journey, what are like some of the biggest challenges that you've had to overcome that you would like to tell like us new creators, if we're starting now, what are some things that we should do, and maybe some things that we should not do? Also, can you shout out all of my fans here, GRFG Family Gaming?
Some of the challenges, I think when I started YouTube, it was a very different space. Like YouTube has developed so much in the past 3 or 4 years that the, I guess market, I don't like to use that word, but it is very, very saturated. So there's so many people doing everything. It's really hard to find something original nowadays because the beauty about YouTube is anyone can do it. So it's very hard to find that niche. But sometimes, like I mentioned earlier, you can just keep trying to create content over and over again, and eventually you'll find that creative idea that is your niche and what you'll really, really enjoy doing, which is part of also the challenging yourself to be creative every single day. So I would say, try not to make it a goal to have a super successful channel. Just do it because you enjoy it, because you love creating content. There's nothing wrong with aspiring to be popular, I guess, but don't make it your sole goal. You need to enjoy what you're doing, have fun what you're doing, because when you do turn it into a full-time job, if you're lucky enough to do that, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, especially when you add the extra projects on the side. So I would say, don't put too much pressure on yourself. The two main things I say to people is practice, because I learn new things every day by doing this every day, and have fun, because as long as you're having fun, you'll be able to do it, you won't lose your mind, and the people that are watching your content will also be having fun. Those are my two main pieces of advice.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hi, what do you think about the negative comments or haters on your videos? Do you ban them? Do you like delete their comments or anything?
I do when I can, but with a channel my size, it's very difficult to get rid of like spam or hate. The easiest thing to do is just ignore them, because that's all they want. They want to rise out of you, whether it's literally replying to them, even deleting them. They're getting that kind of interaction with you. They know that you have personally banned them. So the easiest thing is just focus on the positive, ignore the negative. That's the easiest piece of advice I can give, is completely ignore them. Don't give them the time of day.
Okay. So when I was watching a presentation, most of what I've seen for interacting with your audience outside of YouTube has been going on tours and books. Not all of us can do that sort of thing, especially a small creator. So a small creator's only options, as far as in my experience, have been making merchandise and interacting over other social media platforms.
Yeah.
So I was kind of looking for other options that would be more available to smaller YouTubers.
It's a good question. Something we kind of touched on earlier is there's an event in the UK called Insomnia, which is a gaming event that runs over like 3 days. That was where I started to get a taste for the live space.
Can't type in the chat.
What you get to do is not only hang out with your fans by saying you're going to be in this one space, this organised event, where you can meet them face to face in a safe environment. You can also meet other creators and just other people in general, like other people in the industry, just anyone that's at that event. That is one of the best things that I did, is just put myself out there, go to meet my fans, and usually if you have a following, they will accommodate you too, so they'll be fully open for allowing you to meet your fans in that safe environment without having to set it up yourself. So I would highly suggest that places like this are great to meet other creators and your fans too. Yeah, places like that are really, really great places to start, and that's where I started too. And that's where I got a feel of whether I wanted to explore the live space too.
So I think keeping your channel diverse and as creative as possible is in the channel, but also you and your connections and where you are outside your channel, and places like this is where you develop those. This is where you get a a chance to meet your fans, meet other creators to do collaborations with, and you're no longer on your channel, you're on somebody else's. So, it's all part of that growing process.
And no matter what the size of your channel as well, if you have 1,000 consistent viewers per video, it's a lot of people. People will still want to come and see you at these events. So no matter what the size, I would say definitely pursue that. That's a really good way. And also, social media is great too, because it still has, even though it's not face to face, it almost is, because you still have that personal touch, knowing that that person is even just liking a comment or replying to it directly. They know that you've given that kind of one-to-one interaction. So that's a great way to do it too.
And also, there are quite a lot of merchandise companies out there that give you a whole range of options that you can start to explore. You can self-publish on Amazon. There are companies out there that will help you sort of self-promote in different creative ways, which that I think are all worth exploring.
What's that?
I just want to start off with saying, mean everything to my sisters. You make her smile all the time.
Oh, thank you.
And she loves you and she loves your hugs, and it rubs off on me a little bit, that's just her. My question is, can I get a video of you saying hi to her?
Yes.
I have actually a couple of questions.
Yep.
As you've moved from video to live performance, do you feel attracted to one more than the other? Now that you're doing live, do you find yourself attracted to that where it's hard to go back?
Not necessarily hard to go back. I do find them, even though they are kind of similar, I find them very different. Just because the way you produce everything yourself in a YouTube video is part of the attraction of doing YouTube. So not only are you the personality, I'm also the editor, the thumbnail artist, literally everything. So that's part of the whole package of YouTube for me. Whereas with the live show, I am involved in the creative process, obviously, but I'm more of a performer, so I do see them as two kind of separate things. So.
And also, each show you have a different audience, but you're still doing the same show, every day. So.
Yeah. And then did you see after those live shows your fan base increase online? Was there a direct correlation with transferring that back to video?
Maybe not so much in terms of, say, increasing subscribers on YouTube, but more just having a presence in general. Lots more people were aware because we were selling out venues all over Australia, America, and the UK. People were like, oh, who's this guy selling out venues when he just makes YouTube videos? So it's cool to get people interested in what you're doing, which is really fun.
Yeah, because it's quite easy for sort of mainstream media entertainment to sort of look down their nose slightly at YouTube and what's happening. But as soon as people are flooding through the doors, then they sort of take notice, and they're flooding through your doors, which sort of marks a bit of a shift.
Right. And then finally, I was just even being at this conference, I started looking at the comparison of people in business and what their fan base is. Someone like Richard Branson, who has 42,000 subscribers, or the biggest business channel, I think, is the Google Business, and it's 200,000 subscribers. Someone like Fluffy, who's an entertainer, who's starting to do YouTube, and people watch. His subscriber base is only 2 million. So now it's exponential with you. And how do you actually manage that as far as continually growing that fan base, and then also managing the tasks of, now you're a business, it's a big business, and so you have to manage all of the content, people, obviously you have team members, but I'm really curious about, as that grows, what you're doing to manage that growth.
In terms of YouTube, it's quite nice because I still do everything. A lot of people do outsource, say editing or thumbnail artists and stuff like that, but I don't. I still do everything myself. So YouTube is, and always will be, my thing. So I'll never let anyone else touch that. So that is still me. Whereas with the tour, obviously I do need help. So I do have a team, a very tight-knit, close team that cares about the project, cares about the tour, cares about me as a person, and keeping the YouTube and keeping YouTube separate. That was really important to me. So
ultimately, the day that it becomes a hassle for Dan is the day it stops happening. So
yeah, exactly.
You know, our priority is to make sure that it's as pleasant as possible, and he's having a good time. I think the worst thing that happened was 2 weeks into the first leg, Dan lost his voice, and so that was a worry for the tour. But also, his channel went down for 2 weeks, and that never happened in 5 years. So that was a bit of a stressful moment. So we need to get voice coaches in and see doctors and stuff like that. So we're there just to make sure that the tour doesn't get in the way of YouTube, because ultimately YouTube's, that's where it started, and that's where Dan's sort of majority of his heart will remain. So we just need to make sure it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah, I think that's important with the projects as well that you choose. Don't do a tour because, I don't know, you need to do stuff that you're really passionate about, because it will take over your time. It'll be very, very hard to manage, but if you want to do it, then you make it work somehow, or have a team that really does help you to manage it as well as possible.
So you're keeping that creative control with your YouTube, but you're also keeping the business control. Whereas you're like, you have
everything I build is through me, so I need to keep that. And I think if you lose that, then you lose the magic of what YouTube was in the first place and what you built your whole following on. So I think it's important you keep you and you as a personality, also you as a business person. You need to keep that in as much as possible. So I have creative control, business control, over literally everything. So I think that's very, very important.
Hi. I think I remember you mentioning this earlier, but I just wanted to know, when did you realize that like the internet media was your passion and it was something that you enjoyed? And what do you think it was that you did to realize that?
To realize that media would be a passion of mine?
Yeah.
It's a good question. I never really thought about that before. I've always been a really visual person, so I've always enjoyed films, video, music in particular. I studied music as well, so I was always in that media kind of world, but I never thought I'd actually move into video. I did kind of create like silly animations when I was younger, silly videos with my brother, but then YouTube came along and it was like a great place where you could share your content without literally getting someone over to your house and sitting in front of your screen. So I think it was just YouTube existing was part of me finding my love for making videos, and also just trying out new things like combining gaming with making videos I'd never done before. So YouTube allowed me to challenge myself, make those different videos, and it worked. So I think, yeah, it's partly my love of just creating in general, and then YouTube being such an amazing platform.
So I'm curious if you've got any thoughts on doing what you've done in reverse. I'm in the position where I've just released my 5th book. I do speaking at public conferences on a regular basis. I got a blog that gets 40,000 hits a month. I got 3,600 followers on Twitter. And I know that I'm never going to be at your level as far, because I'm more of a niche topic guy. But what I'm now getting into the YouTube world. I want to translate that existing base of people and bring them into my Twitter world, my YouTube world. So I just wondered if you had any thoughts on, how to tackle this in reverse.
I guess it depends what kind of content you make. If you could, off the top of my head, I guess you could create audiobooks that you then put onto your YouTube account. Maybe that's a good way to get people to the YouTube in the first place. Or then making that transition from a book that maybe not necessarily has many visual elements, and then taking it to YouTube and adding those visual elements. So having something that you've created, but they can't get anywhere else apart from that YouTube account. So hopefully that will draw them to that. It's honestly something I never thought about before, doing it in reverse, but that would be my first initial thoughts, is making it as visual as possible because it is video, or something like audiobooks with a visual kind of element to it. And just taking the best parts of whatever you've built already, and applying that to visual video in the best way that you can. So the only way they can get that new content and that kind of experience is on YouTube.
I think the same principle that was so important to us still applies. So it still needs to be you, it still same feel that all of your other content has on your new channel. So I think as soon as you start trying to do things which don't feel right to your existing audience, because you've got an existing audience which is great. So yeah, you're just trying to migrate them over to a different space. But as soon as that audience comes over and finds you doing something that would be unusual, you trying to be a YouTuber, then you're you're losing it with that audience. So just sort of staying true to your message and whatever it is, it still applies.
Yeah, and if there's something, so you can grow on the basis of what you've already created, what you've already built as a fan base, and bring them over to YouTube. And then in the future, if you wanted to try something else, then they'll already be on YouTube. So instead of going from like, I don't know, writing horror novels and then doing, bad example of makeup tutorials, that's going to be really, really hard to get the audience across. But if you do some kind of like horror videos, then maybe that can bring the audience across. And then in the future, you can explore makeup.
Hi, I have a question about the pitfalls of like balancing touring, making video. How do you do all that while? I noticed this the one thing that's prevalent is the larger you get as a presence, the more directions you're being pulled. How do you get to do that while maintaining what you want to do, what you envision?
It is difficult because I feel strongly about not outsourcing stuff like editing and thumbnails, which would make my life a lot easier. But I love having the control over everything, so that obviously means I have to spend more time. Like for this tour, for this leg of the tour, I recorded I think 5 weeks of videos in advance, and then I'm editing literally any second I can. So it means late nights, early mornings, just a lot of time. You don't sleep much, I guess. But it's just having structure helps. So like when I'm at home, I make sure I work, say, I make videos 9 to 5, I'm much more productive that way. So finding a schedule that works for you, and then applying that schedule, and then you can kind of swap things in when you get that schedule flexible enough. It's difficult, I'm not gonna lie, it's difficult, lots of late nights, lots of early mornings, but if you're passionate about it, you'll want to do it, and I think that's the most important thing.
I think as well, you know, we've sort of been trying to keep up with what's been happening. Now this wasn't, we sort of wanted to do a tour, but it wasn't, right, we're going to do 51 dates in the States, and we're going to do, you know, four weeks in Australia, all the rest of it. So we were sort of keeping up, so there was a lot of adapting that mainly Dan needed to do. I think, you know, if and when we do another tour, it would be structured differently, so that you know, he would have more time to do his videos and maintain his channel. Because yeah, we're sort of going as we're going, basically.
Hi there. My son Dylan is 6 and he is obsessed with you. And he made a picture for you and said, "Mom, can you mail this to the UK?" And I said, "Well, actually, how about I tweet it at him?" And add stuff and the rest of it, but I didn't tweet it. And thank you very much for hearting that tweet when you put on when you liked it. And it made his night, so that's great. And my question is around, you know, the recognition that the parents, and mostly probably a lot of moms, are gateways for you to, you know, for your products to be purchased. And have you ever thought about doing side projects that are geared toward the parent audience that has to understand your content more, or at least wants to understand your content more, and connect with their children, but also be able to help you, you know, grow revenue? And by the way, my son actually defended your advertising on YouTube to another kindergartner and said he needs those ads because he needs to make money. Dan needs to make money, or we can't watch his videos. So thank you.
So the question was
around the side project.
So products geared up towards parents.
Geared towards parents.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
I'm trying, guys. I'm raising my hand again.
I think the main thing from interacting with a lot of parents is to almost not see YouTube as this scary other thing that you don't understand, because essentially it's TV. It's pretty much TV that just these ordinary people are creating. So it's not, even if it's gaming content, I know a lot of people that maybe don't understand Minecraft or whatever games I'm playing, but they enjoy it as a family, like they're watching, I don't know, like a Saturday morning cartoon. So I think it's partly that, trying not to find it such a scary thing. It's just another form of free entertainment, pretty much. But yeah, that idea is very good.
Yeah, we have been sort of talking about, you know, like education and how, you know, Dan's content or Minecraft or whatever it is can sort of have a benefit to education, which I think, you know, would obviously work for the parents. So I think that's probably a space that would make sense for a lot of parents.
Hi Dan.
Hey.
I have a pug thanks to you.
Oh, nice.
So he traveled down here to VidCon with me. I'm wondering how you take care of your pug or pugs with all the videos you make and the traveling you do.
That is a good question. I have an amazing wife. That is the question. That is the answer. She is incredible and is an amazing support network for me. She's just there to, especially with the traveling and stuff, like I had to leave over 7 weeks looking after 3 dogs, which was extremely intense. So she is a massive part of why I'm able to do this in the first place. We did look at bringing them over, but it's very difficult. But I think it's another thing of having, I guess you can see my wife as part of my team. If I didn't have her, then maybe I wouldn't be able to do touring like this. So just having amazing people around you that will help you to manage your schedule, allow you to do things like this in whatever way it is, whether it's helping you directly with the show or helping you at home emotionally, I guess. So yeah, I have an amazing wife that helps me out a lot.
Okay, my question is, all live shows take quite a bit of effort. What's the return on investment for a live show versus return on investment just for video and the way the video travels in a way that's more, I don't know, maybe immediate as compared to a live show. At some point, why did you decide not to forego a live show, give or take the effort that's involved in all that, and what the return on investment of that?
It's probably safe to say that the return on investment for a live show is going to pale in comparison to the return on investment on a successful channel. You know, the time and effort that goes into it versus the financial reward. You know, it doesn't balance up in the same way as it does on the channel. So what Dan was saying about it being a passion project, and you know, you would be really needing to want to do this, I think is probably safe to say.
Yeah, to put it bluntly, the money I make from touring is a lot less than what I make on YouTube. So whatever you do, same with the book too. So because I am lucky enough to be able to do YouTube at such a massive scale, I always have that my day job already there. So anything that I do, I guess you should think about whether you would do it for free, almost. Obviously, don't get screwed over by, don't get taken advantage of. But also, you just have to be passionate about them, because you're not going to make as much as you do for YouTube. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, you just have to be something that you're extremely passionate about, because financially it might not even make sense to be able to do it because of the time and effort it takes. I had to take 2 weeks out of making YouTube videos because I was doing the tour, because I lost my voice. Obviously, in a business mind, that was a stupid decision, I guess. But you have to be passionate about it. It's something I just really want to pursue. So
I think immediately it had an impact, but we're sort of with Dan, we're trying to sort of grow the world that he's creating and put it into those different spaces. So you would hope that in 3 or 4 years' time, all of that work we're doing now,
You're funny.
We'll have a bigger benefit. So I think it's a sort of longer term, bigger picture. But things like the tour of a book, although they're not immediate financial sort of successes, they really do impact on the bigger picture.
Yeah. 100%.
What do you think of the social media outside of YouTube?
What do I think of it? I think it's a great way for fans to find out more about you as a person. like when I'm traveling the world, people want to know what I'm up to, where I'm going, and I think it's an amazing way to directly interact with your fans. Like you said, I liked one of your pictures, and you went crazy. It's just a great way for them to know that I'm that one who pressed that like button. So even if I didn't have time to reply to all of the comments I get, I try and like as many as possible because they know that you physically, as a person, have sat down and done that. So it's a great way to interact with fans. Yeah, I absolutely love it. I think it's very important to keep that relationship really strong between you and fans.
Okay, so say you're a new channel out there, how would you bring that channel out of the dark and grow it?
That is a good question, and also a very difficult thing to do. Like I mentioned earlier, there's so many people doing YouTube now, it's crazy, especially in any kind of subject, whether it's gaming, vlogs, anything. I think if you have a personality that people will enjoy, then that's going to help, and it doesn't happen overnight. It can be very, very slow. So again, it can take you a while to find what kind of content you really want to make and what people really want to watch. But as long as you're challenging yourself every day to be creative, you'll eventually find it, and you'll find your own audience, whether it's massive or whether it's small. You'll find people that love what you do. So, and that's the beauty of YouTube, and anyone can do it. So as long as you're hitting all those points, it'll either happen for you or not. There's not really a secret to it, unfortunately.
I wanted to know, like for that tweet in the front row, how did you find that one tweet? When you're interacting like one-on-one with fans, how do you go through comments? How do you go through mentions, tweets, likes, all sorts of stuff? How do you pinpoint like who to interact with and when? Is it just by chance? Or?
Yeah, because when you do get to a channel to my side, especially with comments and stuff, those are really difficult to moderate just because of how YouTube works at the moment. But in terms of Twitter and Instagram, Twitter more so, I'm more of a fan of because it's got that direct interaction. Yeah, just taking the time to do it. Sometimes it will just be random because you won't be able to physically see every notification, so it'll just be crazy. But when you see something you like, don't just think, oh, that's cool. Actually, take that extra second to interact with it and hit that like button and make someone's day, potentially, or life. Yeah, exactly what happened in the front row. It's just taking that extra time from reading it, instead of scrolling straight away to something else, just taking that extra second to hit the like button and show them that you appreciate what they've done.
Right. So this is something that's sort of been going on with my channel recently. I have an audience that's like 1,000 or so people, and that's a big number, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah, thousands.
Yeah, so the problem I'm having is I'd like to get them to comment more on the videos, or at least hit the like button or something like that. And my thing at the end of my videos is, thank you for watching this video and keep being awesome. I'll see you guys in the next video. I make a point not to tell them to comment or like, I want them to do that on their own. So I was wondering, how would you deal with a quiet audience?
Quiet audience, that is tricky. I think the way that I view feedback, so taking out Twitter and Instagram stuff, so just getting feedback on YouTube, I also like comments, the like feature a lot. So if people have really enjoyed a video, I feel like they're more inclined to physically go to that like button and like it. So you could have, say, a video with 1 million views that gets 25,000 likes, which in the ratio doesn't seem great, but then you can also get a video that has 1 million views and then 50,000 likes. You know, you can do more of that because they enjoyed it more. So I don't think asking for people to be like, oh, if you enjoyed the video, then like them, because some people do need reminding. Personally, I don't like physically like that many videos just because I'm very quickly on to the next one. So I think I don't think there's any shame in asking people, well, not asking, reminding them to like. And if people do comment, reward them by, I think you can like comments now on YouTube, so if you haven't got time to reply, then you can do that. But yeah, showing people that you are active in the comment section over time, people will see that, and eventually be like, oh, if I comment, there's a chance that they would reply.
So there might not be enough time for me to ask another question.
Cool. So, yeah, I've been told that we need to wrap it up. So, thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your questions. I hope it was interesting. Have a good rest of the VidCon.
Yeah, thank you guys.
All right, guys. I'm gonna see if I can get a picture and challenge him to some Pokemon Brick Bronze.
Where's my bag? I have it. You have it. Okay.
Okay, hi. So, we're in London. Last one. We're in London on July 12th. I don't know if you guys will be there. I will. Yeah. We're doing a live event at the YouTube channel. I'll send you an email. Okay, yeah, great. So I was wondering maybe if you guys could be there. We did a live in New York 2 weeks ago. Yeah. Went well. Now we're doing the second one just to get watch more of the brand out there. Great. Yeah. And that's one thing.
So it sounded like a fidget spinner.
Trying to get somebody you come in and watch Mojo and Dan and try to do a collaboration or something. Yeah, some definitely. Sort of maybe top 10 of those initiatives and restaurants that we did one in PewDiePie. I don't know if you saw it yesterday. I did see it. Yeah. I did see it. Except that was you, was it? Yeah, it was us. So we did a top 10 and we talked and we did a top 10 maybe 2 weeks ago. So he took that and flipped it over and had fun with it. So it was wicked. Yeah. Send me an email. We'll try and get something arranged. And if you meet in July, that would be great. Yeah, perfect. Lovely to meet you. Nice to meet you. Cheers. Go on, man.
Trade you.
Hey, cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, can I get your card too? I'd like to.
My last one.
Oh, okay.
I left this one at the hotel.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah.
Cool.
Huh? I'm gonna say hello. Hey, how you doing? Paul. Nice to meet you, Paul. Based out of Manchester. Oh, it's quite a long voice. Nice.
You guys came a ways.
Yeah. So it's interesting question in the middle row about like other outlets for it. Yeah. I run a soccer channel. Yeah. All the outlets. It's now stabilized there. And
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you.
Still, frankly, but some of the guys like yourself do a lot of pretty handy. And it'd be cool to get a chance to show you.
I'll see if I can get a shout out. I want to challenge him to Pokemon Brick Bronze battle. I want to see if he'll battle me Pokemon Brick Bronze.
Okay, cool.
C'est la vidéo que vous voulez faire avec moi.
Sorry. You're with Watchable?
Watchable.
Oh, Watchable. Okay, I thought
Ariana, how's it going? It's a big hello.
I know he loves Pokemon, so.
Eli, right? Hey Eli, how's it going? Just wanted to say a big try and switch up.
I'm gonna get him to give you guys shout outs, so stick around.
Yeah, we're all based.
What kind of videos do you make? Nice one. Nice to meet you.
Ready to go?
Yeah, I don't have a pen on me. I'm really bad. Oh, that's so good. Hey. Nice one. No worries. Nice to meet you. Hey, how's it going? Marcus, hey Marcus, how's it going? Just want to say a big hello. Yes, of course. Next. Hey guys, it's Dan here, Roman and Claire, just wanted to say hi. There you go, no worries.
I haven't seen Shonduras. Mind you, look at his bodyguard. I know.
No worries, nice to meet you guys. Hi Heaven, hi Mia, how's it going? I'm here with your mom. Hey. Yes. Hi Ada, how's it going? Just want to say a massive happy birthday. Hope you have a great day. No worries. Yes. Oh, or donuts. Yes. Hey. Oh really? Hello? Hello, who is this? Nice, what's your name? Nice to meet you, kind of. Nice to speak to you. Well, it's nice to speak to you. I think I'm going to sign some stuff for you as well. It's nice to speak to you. See you. Bye. No worries. There you go. No worries. You too.
Zoe.
Yes, of course. Hey Zoe, how's it going? It's Dan here, just wanted to say hi.
Thank you so much. I hear your voice all day long through my kids.
Hey, how's it going?
Doing good, how are you? Can we get a picture?
Of course.
Oh, no.
Oh, cool. Thank you, Dragon Beast.
Who am I looking at? What?
Sorry, I got a little super chat from...
Nice
Thank
one.
you.
No worries, nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too. Alright. Can you sign her?
Oh, it's more connection. Can you see now?
There we go. Page of history.
We'll do a quick video after this.
Yeah, of course. There you go. No worries. Nice to meet you guys.
So you could just say DanTDM with Ed and Lulu Gaming.
Yes.
So they have your. Okay. Go ahead.
Hey guys, DanTDM here with Ed and Lulu Gaming.
Thank you.
I've done that too.
Lovely.
Can you say hi to these guys? I'm live streaming.
Hey, nice. How's it going?
And I want to know, what's your favorite Pokemon? And I'd like to challenge you to a Pokemon Brick Bronze battle.
Oh, nice. I need to prepare.
I'll give you some pokes if you need. But.
Nice. My favorite Pokemon is Gengar.
Gengar.
Yeah, classic
nice.
Gengar.
Nice. That is so awesome. Yeah, no, I mean, I have a channel, GRFG Family
thank you.
Gaming, and yeah, I've made some animations of your character. And,
Oh, really? Nice.
Yeah, I
I'll
tried to
check
send
it
them to
out.
you, but yeah, that'd be awesome. You know,
Cool, I'll check it out. Thank
okay,
you.
cool. Thanks, man.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for your questions, too.
Shout out to all these guys.
Yeah.
Huge fan, Dan.
Nice. Did you stream the whole thing?
Yeah.
That's nice.
That
I hope
cool?
you enjoyed it, guys.
And can I get your autograph in there?
Yeah, do you have a pen?
Yeah, and you can keep the pen too afterwards. I don't need any more autographs after
Thank
this.
you.
Thank you so
That's a
much,
VidCon
Dan.
pen as well.
It's all yours.
No worries.
Thank
Nice
you.
to
Take
meet
care,
you.
man.
See ya.
That is so awesome. Wasn't that awesome? Oh my gosh, I'm like shaking here, guys. This is weird. I'm like fanboying. Right. Dan, I got an autograph. Yeah. All right, I got to show you guys the autograph. I got to show you guys the autograph. Yes. Look at it. Oh man. He has my card. No, he doesn't. Look. DanTDM. Yay! Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Guys, can you believe that? That was cool. I just streamed the whole thing. It was awesome. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And guys, that was DanTDM, the one and only Dan. Taco Cat. Hopefully he wasn't bothered by me streaming that. It seemed like, it seems like he's okay with it. He was like, oh, cool. So I challenged him to Roblox. His favorite Pokemon is Gengar. And I'm just shaking a little bit because that was so weird. I just threw, okay. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to plug this phone in and try to get it to charge a little bit. See you guys. What's up?
We totally know who you
We
are.
know who you
We're
are.
up
Oh, do you?
there And we're like, oh, hey, yeah.